Speaking of weather, let's put our science caps on. Yesterday was the first day of summer and the longest day of the year, but check it out. Even though we have had so much daylight right now, we usually don't get our hot temperatures until later in the summer when the days are actually shorter. Why is that? Well, let's bring in the expert, our chief meteorologist, Matt Zaffino, to explain.
Thanks so much, Pat. You know, it's a really interesting question, and one that comes up every year. And as you mentioned, summer started Monday night, actually Tuesday morning. So we'll revisit this map about the seasons. And here we are at the summer solstice, basically, and at that time of year, at this time of the year, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. So we're getting the most direct rays of the sun as we do all year long. That, of course, means we have our longest days, as you mentioned, but it also means the sun angle is highest, which is key for heating. So this is where we are, the summer solstice, sun directly above the Tropic of Cancer, even though that was yesterday, close enough still. We're getting 16 hours and 40 minutes of daylight right now here in the Portland area. Of course, up in the Arctic Circle, it's 24 hours of daylight. So why, you ask the question, why is it not the hottest time of the year? We've got the highest sun angle, we've got the longest days, that's all happening right now. And yet, if you look at our average high temperatures and most of the hottest temperatures on record, taking last year out because that happened in June, right around the solstice. But most of the really hot temperature records in Portland and the highest averages occur in late July and early August when the sun angle isn't as high and the days aren't quite as long. Well, why is that, right? The question is, or the answer rather is, it takes time for the heating to occur. This is called the seasonal lag. So we get this really intense heating right now. That heat is absorbed by the land and then it's turned around and re-radiated out to space, and we feel the hot weather. But it takes time for everything to warm up like that. Think of it this way. If you put a kettle of water on your stove and you crank that stove all the way up to high, the water isn't instantly hot like that, right? It takes time for that kettle to start to whistle for Pat to have his chamomile tea. So it's just a function of time. It takes time for the heating to happen. We see that not only with the seasons, we see it on a daily basis too. Our hottest time of the day is usually about 5 o'clock, maybe 6 o'clock in the afternoon, but we're getting the most intense incoming solar heating around local noon. Same thing with the ocean as well. The hottest time of the year for the oceans is typically late summer, September even. Yet, the most intense heating that we're getting is happening now. That's why hurricane season peaks in September, because that's when we typically have the warmest water. So yes, we're getting the most intense heating and the longest amount of heating right now, but it takes time for the earth or the ocean to absorb that heat and turn it around, and that's why we've got what we call the seasonal lag. Pat?
I'll be darned, Matt. I mean, I always knew that it got hotter in September, or actually in August, but I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And now I know why. Thanks.
Intuitively, you understand it and you know it, but I think the analogy with the tea kettle is best because everybody can relate to that. You don't just, turn up the heat and suddenly you have a pot of hot water. It takes time for that water to absorb the heat. And think of it this way. It's like you crank up that heat and then you gradually turn it down. It's going to take even a little bit longer for that tea kettle to heat up.
I think if you ever get tired of weather, you could be a great physics teacher at college or anywhere, Matt.
Well, thank you. I mean, it is all about physics and it's fun. Physics can be fun.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
You bet.